Sony, HTC and Oculus are making their early bids to be the games giants of the fully immersive virtual reality market. What the boosters promise will be a revolution ushering in a new era in gaming. London's latest indie-centric EGX Razzed 3-day event saw video games developers from the booming UK indie scene and from further afield present their creative takes on virtual reality.
There's a huge interest in VR just across the industry, and as is usual, it's the independent developers who are doing the most interesting stuff. There are some really kind of cool little projects doing really interesting kind of quirky things with the platform, and that's as VR headsets become more popular, you'll see probably more indie games than you will see from the big publishers.
For example, Italian-based games developer Tiny Bull Studios was showcasing its latest VR title called Blind. Gamers play as a young girl who wakes up in a strange house with no memory of how she got there and without the use of her sight. Instead, they must explore their surroundings using sound. Sending out sound waves briefly reveals the landscape before it fades away. Rather than crafting a huge, immersive VR universe, Tiny Bull focused on one telling aspect.
You're blind, of course, which is weird in VR, but you have some sort of ability, sort of like Daredevil, so you can use echolocation and use sound to navigate the world around you. The challenge is to have the players use their other senses, so we're relying on haptic feedback and, of course, on audio.
There's a multitude of advantages for game makers in the virtual world just waiting to be explored, says Richard Bang, games designer at British studio Freakstorm.
It gives you the opportunity to allow the players to become much more immersed in the environment. When they're playing the game, they can forget that the real world exists. There's no borders at the edge of the screen. The whole game is all around them.
Freakstorm's VR contender is Dr. Clorox Obliteration game. This single-player 3D adventure puzzle has 3 individual characters, each with their own special power that you need to coordinate to outwit the evil Doctor, who's lost his mind and rules over an intergalactic reality TV show. Gamers explore extensive 3D environments using a dynamic camera view which allows them to play from various perspectives.
The advantage that the indies have is that we can try anything. We're not tied to big AAA budgets. We don't have to play it safe. So you'll see lots of people trying out new things. It's the new frontier of gaming. Nobody knows what works and what doesn't work. We all get to try it and we see what works.
Germany's application systems Heidelberg is presenting something completely different. Carpinus Em, where gamers solve tricky puzzles by making flowers bloom using the power of light rays. With the addition of VR hand controllers, players can guide and adjust the light rays with their hands. The relaxed environment is intended for players to gently become completely immersed.
We wanted to create a calm entry experience into VR, so we don't want to make people sick, so it's a very meditative and slow-paced, no-pressure kind of game.
How long will that attitude last? About 10 seconds, as PlayStation was already letting punters at the show play with unreleased, more mainstream games and its new VR machines. The Sony empire is poised and ready to strike.